I'm a big dog, who you wanna? Diamonds on my wrist and on my...
Yo, what's going on? And welcome into the huddle. You are here with Conor, Coyle, Ari Morton, and COVID boy Hayden Lundfeld. Today we are here talking about what happened in the Super Bowl other than the weekend's terrible performance.
It wasn't terrible. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, I mean, initial thoughts on your opening there. I mean, the COVID boy, like, I feel like I'm a part of history right now, man. Like,
you're just a statistic. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
You're just another number.
I'm a part of the growing number, which flatten the curve, guys. But and in all seriousness, the weekend was not that bad, Connor. But we had this whole conversation last night. We don't have to have it again.
Hayden was heated last night.
No, you were mad, but let's get to the football.
All right, let's get into it. Let's first start off with what happened to the Chiefs. I can start off if you guys want.
Take it.
All right, so I want to start this off by talking about this poor man, Patrick Mahomes, man. Patrick Mahomes, Jesus. You could have put Cartman from South Park out there, and he would have thrown better blocks, man. It was bad. That man was scrambling across the world last night. He, got, tourist stuff from all across the country last night, bro. It was bad. And then when he finally could escape outside of the pocket, his receivers couldn't catch anything, bro. You can't win a game. You can't win a game with no O-line. It's impossible. And shout out to the MVPs of the game, the refs. Shout out to y'all. Much appreciated. I actually want to show you guys a quick video. Let me show it to you guys real fast.
What is it?
He's showing us a TikTok.
That's actually funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's what it was like, man. And it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch as a Mahomes fan.
Wait, I have a question. Is he still the GOAT?
What?
Is he still the GOAT?
I'm not gonna say he is the GOAT right now. I will say that.
Yeah.
I gotta say Tom Brady's the GOAT right now. I think it's gonna be really hard for him to ever become the GOAT now. And we'll get into that later. So why don't you guys give up what you believe happened?
I mean, talk about the refs, man. First of all, the Chiefs killed themselves with the penalties. It's not trip there. The Chiefs. I mean, that offsides on a field goal. Come on, you can't line up offsides on a field goal, and that's just a small part of it. The Bucs flat out bullied them the entire game. The missing offensive lineman made Patrick Mahomes as useful as Johnny Manziel. I mean, just running around all over the place, and I mean, he ran for a total of, I saw this stat, 497 yards before throwing a pass or taking a sack, which, I mean, it was a little bit less than 10 yards ran per pass thrown or per drop back. And I also think a part of their downfall was Andy Reid not being able to adjust. Like when we made our prediction episode, I said, I acknowledged that the O-line was going to be an issue, but I said, you know what, I trust in Andy Reid to be able to get the ball out of Mahomes' hands where, you get Tyreek Hill in space, you get McCole Hardman in space. I mean, it just wasn't working, and I feel like Andy Reid didn't adjust enough, but there was also not much you could do when that defense was just making him run all over the field every play on a hurt toe nonetheless.
Yeah, I have a quick question for you guys that we did not discuss. I'm kind of just throwing at you guys out on the fly. Do we think Patrick Mahomes has any blame? Do we blame Patrick Mahomes at all?
I mean, yeah, not all his fault.
But why?
It's not like he's Mr. Golden Boy. He didn't.
I'd say
he didn't play a perfect game. He missed some throws. Obviously, it's not 100% his fault. It's not even 50% his fault. But he has at least 10%. He has some of the blame. It's not like he was going.
I'd say yes. I'd say he deserves some of it because I mean, like Ari has said before, like he in the Super Bowls, he hasn't really had that great of performances, and in this one, what he needed to do was come out and make a statement, and he had like 3 yards in the first quarter. So like, I think that's on him because you got to make some sort of statement against a defense that's or else they're just gonna keep coming, and they kept coming at him, and it was just hell for him the whole game
What
because
could
he
he
didn't
do about
come
that?
up. I'm
Look,
saying if you make a statement early in the game that, all right,
How
we're
could
the
he make a
Chiefs, we're
statement
the
with
Chiefs.
how could he make a statement with nobody blocking for him, bro? He had no time.
I mean,
This dude, keep in mind, this dude still threw for almost 300 yards.
garbage time yards, yeah. I
Like,
mean, like he
I don't
just
know what else
wasn't.
you want for him.
I'm not saying. It's just that you can't take all of the blame away from him because he's the leader of that team, and
look, I'm just
he
gonna say
has to take
this.
some of the blame for a guy who you probably thought should have been MVP. I don't know. Many people thought should have been MVP of the league. He deserves some of the blame just because of that.
I'm gonna get in here. So he does deserve at least a smidge of the blame. No quarterback plays a literal perfect game. Okay. He did get pressured on 29 dropbacks, which is a Super Bowl record. So most of the blame falls on Andy Reid because Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 49 times. That's over half of his dropbacks. He got pressured. That's not, you can't win football games. They did not run the football as much as they needed to. You can't have that happen and still play the same game you've been playing. It did work, but it worked when Mahomes had time. Like, you can't, they weren't even like taking short passes. They were still launching it down to Tyreek Hill. Cole Hardman couldn't even get open. I don't think he even got any catches. Like, yes, Patrick Mahomes, to answer your question, he does take some of the blame, but mostly on Andy Reid.
I agree. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 9 carries throughout the entire game. 9.
Which is a normal game for them, but you can't play
He
a
also
normal game.
he also sucks. I drafted him in fantasy first round. I watched his first.
You were the whole Chiefs offense.
No, I didn't. I just had my whole. I got rid of them by the end of the season. But
all right, you drafted Mahomes, Edwards-Helaire, I think McCole Hardman. Do you have Tyreek Hill?
no, I would have won.
Well, you McCole Hardman. I had Travis Kelce though. So
I had McCole Hardman, I thought.
I dropped them. That's why. But
that's why. Wait, but Hayden, how'd you get rid of Patrick Mahomes again?
I traded him to a team that also did not win the chip, so it's fine.
But the team that beat you in the playoffs, though, right?
Yeah, that's all right. I robbed you, bro. I got Keenan.
Wait, I have a question for you guys. I don't remember. Who won the championship?
Hey, let's move on, Conor. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Who went 12-1 and won the championship?
Yeah, as I've said before, let's move on. Yeah.
Wait, hey, Ari, did you give your opinion on what happened to the Chiefs?
Same thing as you. I mean, missing both offensive tackles, got a lot of pressure. The drop passes were insane. 2 passes hit the receiver's face in the end zone on an insane throw, rolling out left, turning, throwing it on a dime to Tyreek Hill, hit him in the face. The second one, the greatest throw I've ever seen in my life, hands down. Parallel to the ground. He looked like a shortstop throwing to first base. I mean, it was insane. Yeah, parallel to the ground. I think it was Darrell Williams in the face. 2 touchdowns, and then the rest. Some of them, yes, Hayden, you're right. I mean, he was offside with some of them were PI, but like the one on Tyrann Mathieu on Mike Evans in the end zone, that ball hit the back wall. Like, it was not catchable. So I don't know what that was all about. But yeah, the refs did screw them over a little bit. But at the same time, the DBs were called for PI because they were being beat, and they had to hold the receiver to not be beat. So they called PI themselves, kind of, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was a whole bunch of things that just led to Tom Brady winning his 7th ring and dominating like he always does.
Yeah, to say the least. Speaking of Tom Brady, do we think Tom Brady deserves MVP?
100%. I know. I was thinking Gronk at first because he had 2 touchdowns, played great. But then I look at this. Tom Brady was 21 of 29 passing. That makes you valuable. Completing passes and not turning the ball over. That's what helps your team win. That's why you're going to get me for saying that's why the Browns were rolling at the end of the year. Baker threw 1 pick in the second half of the season, and they were winning games. Tom Brady, 21 of 29. That's a 72% completion rating. That's very good. 200 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's valuable. That's how you win the game. Got the ball to those playmakers. Threw the ball in situations where PI could be called, and it was called, led them down the field, and he took care of the football. That's how you win football games. That made him the most valuable player of last night.
And pick that got called back though. Yeah.
That wasn't entirely his fault though, but I have to agree with Ari.
That one was tipped.
Yeah, I have to agree with Ari on this one because I don't think it should be a question, really. Like the only logical person that you could give the MVP to instead of Brady is Todd Bowles, but he can't. He's not eligible for the MVP. So, I mean, this team believed that they could win because of Brady. That's literally the reason. With any other quarterback on this team, I don't even know if this team's in the Super Bowl right now. But I mean, like you said, his no turnover performance so huge in such a pivotal game. Although maybe it wouldn't have mattered because they won by so much. But even still, like he just controlled the game. Like I felt like every throw he was making was on target, and putting the offense in like they were driving down the field. Aside from their first 3 and out, they were driving down the field every time.
Mm-hmm.
They even got stopped at the 1 on 4th and goal once, so they could have even had more points than they did.
And also, Ronald Jones shouldn't have had that football. It should have been Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, Fournette too. I mean, Fournette played a great game, but I think Brady deserved it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, I actually, it was tight for me. I actually wasn't going to give it to Brady, but because you guys did, I'm actually not. I'm going to give it to a man that goes by the name of Devin White. So
he's up there. He's the defensive player of the game. Bro,
Devin White, 8 tackles, 4 assisted tackles, and an interception. That man was all over the field. He was doing what we know that Bucs defense to do, and he was leading that defense, and for that reason, I think I have to give it to him. The defense is what won them that game. You hold the Chiefs to 9 points, no touchdowns.
That's the craziest part. Even Shaq Barrett after the game, they asked him. He was like, there was something like, "Did you think it was going to happen?" He's like, "We thought they were going to score touchdowns. Just we thought we'd score more. Like they even thought they were going to score on them, and they just didn't."
Well, here's why I disagree with that, Connor. And yeah, Devin White is an outstanding player. We've all said something good about him at some point on this podcast, but that defensive effort was way more than just one person. And I mean, it was their whole D line too.
Absolutely.
Like I think that's why I said Todd Bowles is the most deserving, but he can't get it because collectively, when they were rushing the quarterback and getting to him with no blitz, like that's the D line right there. And then Devin White played his role where he was making tackles, even in pass coverage. Like, and so was Levante David too. Like all of those guys played a hand, I'd say, pretty equally in shutting the Chiefs down the way they did, which is why I can't feel comfortable giving it to one guy on the defense. Whereas Brady is Tom Brady. It's the Brady effect. Like Tampa believed in themselves because of Brady's leadership, and I think leadership is a very valuable piece to the MVP award. So that's why I disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean, I can completely accept that because Brady played a great game. But the same time, I do want to say that Devin White led that defense, other than obviously that D-line, which was insane. But, from the secondary perspective, he led the defense. He got 8 tackles, 4 assisted tackles. Like, you won't see that out of someone in his position probably again for a while. Like, and also pulling off a pick against the greatest quarterback in the game right now, other than, I'm still saying that he's the greatest quarterback.
No, he's still the best quarterback. But I do agree with you that Devin White played a great game. But the thing about it, it's the most valuable player. He was not most valuable. He played great, but it's not like Hayden's right. He didn't lead. Like, he led the defense, but it wasn't the Devin White show. It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense as a whole. I mean, the secondary was shutting. Tyreek Hill had 2 catches. And then previously, they played before, 7 catches in the first quarter, and then over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. This game, 2 catches for 30 yards. That's insane. And then, the D-line played great. Other linebackers played great. So he did play great. He did lead the defense. He was the best player on that defense, but he wasn't the most valuable to the success. That was by far Tom Brady.
Yeah, but because the defense was so good that it's almost impossible to stand out that much.
The defense as a whole was. Devin White, if you took out Devin White, they still would have played great.
I agree. I completely agree.
So then Devin White's not the most valuable.
But that's like saying Mahomes throws for 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce all go off, and like that entire offense goes off. That offense did great.
Yeah, but offense is different than defense.
I know, but we are always – everyone wants to give the MVP award to the quarterback. It happens
every year. That's what happens every year. It's just how football works. Because the quarterback is also the most valuable player on the team by far.
Yeah.
No matter what. Look at the Buccaneers. There was 9-7 last year, or 7-9 last year, and they added a quarterback and a couple other key guys, but mostly it was Tom Brady.
They had a good quarterback last year.
No, they didn't. He threw 30 picks. Shut up.
He was still good.
He sucks. He should go steal some more crab legs.
All right. I'm gonna move on to who we think are most impactful. What we think the most impactful performance is. I think it's pretty obvious that we're gonna have to say the Bucs D-line. I want to start this off with not just saying the Bucs D-line. I want to give it to the refs. I want to give it to Devin White, and I also want to give it to Leonard Fournette. He had 135 total yards, averaging around 5.7 yards per carry. He was a force out there and really opened up the passing game for Brady. He was balling, and he deserves some of the credit, and I wanted to bring some attention to Leonard Fournette today.
Yeah, that was literally what I wrote down right here. I want to say Todd Bowles, but I'm an offensive guy, so I chose an offensive player. I took Leonard Fournette. And it wasn't only the fact that he had over 100 total yards and a touchdown. He wore out the defense, which made it a lot easier for the offense. He made the play action so much more valuable, which all 3 touchdowns that Tom Brady threw were off of play action. That happened because the defense is so scared of Leonard Fournette. It just made it so easy for Tom Brady. I want to say a quick honorable mention, Rob Gronkowski, but I think Leonard Fournette was more impactful than him.
Yeah. Fournette had a great game. Playoff Lenny, But I'm giving the most impactful performance, and listen to me, is every single lineman that played in this game. You got the Chiefs O-line. It's impactful because it was a shameful performance and so bad that the Chiefs O-line last night was the equivalent to the Brooklyn Nets defense in the NBA. That's how bad it was. And then I'll talk about the Chiefs D-line getting 4 pressures the whole game on Brady. And Ari, you've mentioned this in previous episodes. Brady will pick your defense apart if you give him time, and that's all they gave him. He had so much time, especially on that the second Gronk touchdown. So much time. The Bucs O-line Fournette was a product of that, and so was the time that Brady had.
100%.
So I think you got to look at those guys in the same light of Fournette, and he did make some great runs, but I think having that O-line play as well as they did opened up a lot for the offense as a whole. And then obviously the D-line, we've talked about it multiple times already, but I mean, pressuring Mahomes on more than 50% of his dropbacks is the largest contributor to why they won that game and why they held them to 9 points, no touchdowns. Every single lineman in this game had an impact on the way the game went.
Positive and negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a smart way to think about it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement about that, which is, rare for us, but I'm glad. I feel like there might be some controversy coming up, but now let's get into if we think Tom Brady should retire. If I was Tom, I'd retire. Let's be honest. Mahomes and the Chiefs will be back in the Super Bowl.
So will the Bucks next year. Just saying, rematch.
If I was Tom, I wouldn't want to give Mahomes that chance. I don't want to give Mahomes the opportunity to come back and beat me and then help his case to become the GOAT. If I have this win at 43 years old against the person who's running against her, I mean, there's plenty of guys that we think could be named as the greatest quarterback of all time. But in my eyes, I see
Mac Jones.
Patrick Mahomes as a guy with the biggest potential to get there. This last night hurt him bad. I don't think he'll ever get there now.
He can't. It's not possible.
Unless he comes back next year and beats Brady. So if I was Brady, I'm getting out.
But then he's beaten a 44-year-old man, which isn't that impressive.
You beat him at 43.
But
can I just say
But
that Conor, I actually agree with your take there. In my honest opinion, it would be smart for him to retire, not just because of that, where he would avoid a possible revenge game from Mahomes and the Chiefs, but he can eliminate any unnecessary injury to a 44-year-old man that he could take at the tail end of his career. And I know, yes, he may be able to, and he probably will be able to play for even more years than just the next end of his contract. I think that's just next year. But I mean, something interesting I just want to put here. Matthew Stafford's on the Rams now. Like Tom Brady's losing to them before he gets to the Super Bowl. Let's be honest here. That's for another episode. But Tom Brady can save himself the embarrassment of losing to Matthew Stafford and the Rams by retiring. And I think that's what he needs to do. I think he can just say, you know what? I'm going to end on a high note. There's a bunch of teams stacking up next year because we don't know where Deshaun Watson's going yet. We don't know where any quarterbacks are really going yet except for Stafford. I think he's got to go out on a high note here and say, I'm the greatest ever and no one's going to catch me.
Real quick, the Rams are a lower caliber Bucks. They kind of have the same team, running back by committee. I mean, great receivers, an okay tight end, good quarterback, good defense, just lower caliber Bucks. But my answer to the question is, again, yes, 100%. He should have retired when they beat the Falcons for his 5th Super Bowl a good 4 or 5 years ago. Since then, there's no reason for him to play this game other than the love and passion for the game. He has the money, also has the wife with the money. He has the championships. He has the fame. He has his health at the moment. I mean, he eats like a robot. He eats the same thing every day. Will he retire? 100% not. Shout out Max Kellerman. The cliff prediction is so wrong. He has been going up a cliff recently. I mean, he's been playing better than he was a couple of years ago. He loves the game, and he's going to play. I think he'll sign a contract extension, honestly.
Yeah, probably. I mean, look, if it means that I get to see more of these videos after the win, I love these videos. I can't be the only one who like loves this debate.
I know, I love it.
Where he's just a goat energy right there, man.
I love it. I love it.
And then, I mean, you know the rest.
Yeah.
I might have watched that like 12 times. Like it
I
was,
look forward to those with just the caption, just the W.
yeah,
every time they win. I love it. But yeah, he's not retiring. He loves the game. Well, should he retire? He should have been retired. He should have been long retired. He's nothing to gain.
He's just defying science right now. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, we need to give that body's man the science. Like honestly, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have been a Brady hater until this year.
I have so much respect for that man. I can't hate him.
Yeah.
I have so
I
much.
Ari, I DM'd you on Instagram before the game. I sent you the video of Tom Brady walking in the stadium. I was like, they're not losing, man. Like knowing I picked the Chiefs, we all did last episode. Yeah. I was like, I'm worried for the Chiefs. I said that. I was like,
oh, I was shaking before the game, man. I had a gut feeling that they were losing, and
yeah, I didn't think it would be like that. But
I'm just gonna say this one thing. So my prediction for the score was 34-31 Chiefs win, right?
Yeah, at least you got
the Bucs scored 31. I'm just gonna say that they scored 31.
Yeah,
got that right.
At least you got something right. Yeah.
Also said there's going to be over 6.5 touchdowns in the game. Also like over 56 points. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about how wrong we were.
Yeah.
So let's get into the next question we have, and that is, will teams be able to figure out the Chiefs?
Hell. Sorry, I just want to say this. Hell no. There's no chance. And I'll tell you why. Even if teams figure them out, what are you going to do? I know how to, on paper, I can on paper stop the Chiefs, but it doesn't matter. You can't stop them. Where did he go? They have too many players that are too fast, too big, too athletic, too good. I mean, look, there was players that were open, but Patrick Mahomes couldn't find them because he was running around. So the O-line's fixed next year, right? Assuming. Then the drop passes. Mahomes, like, even though he was running around, Mahomes made two, like I mentioned before, crazy throws that were dropped. That's not going to happen again. That was fluke. That's not happening again. And then, I mean, Mahomes did everything he could do to succeed. The running game looked kind of well. I don't know why they didn't stick with it, but they should continue to do that. Also, they're very hungry now. I'm telling you that right now. They're very hungry. I'm telling you that, again, rematch next year. Bucs Chiefs in the Super Bowl, 100%.
Dude, I literally, on my note sheet, I have literally almost everything you said. I think you had a little bit more than I did. There is no way in hell that any team is going to be able to stop all of that star power on that team.
And they have another draft pick who they're going to hit 100%.
Exactly. Once that O-line is healthy, that team is so unbelievably strong. And I think the only team in this league that can compete with them is the Bucs. And I think it's going to be the same thing next year. I think it's going to be a great battle, except I think Mahomes comes out next year. I think Mahomes makes his case. I think the Chiefs are going to be even hungrier this year. I don't think they're going to lose a game.
Makes his case for what?
Makes his case to be the GOAT.
No. What?
No, I'm not saying he's going to become the GOAT if he wins the Super Bowl next year. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's going to help develop his case.
This can be a different conversation, but it's impossible for Mahomes. Even if he gets to 7, well, obviously not impossible, but if he gets to 7, who was the tiebreaker? Brady beat him twice in the Super Bowl one time. He's not getting 8. He's not getting 8.
Could.
Yeah, he could, but it's not gonna happen.
We didn't think Brady would get 7.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me 10 years ago we thought Brady would have 7?
Well, no.
Exactly.
Okay, but Andy Reid isn't Bill Belichick.
Andy Reid's a hell of a coach.
Guys,
100%.
Guys, if you would shut up and let me disagree with you here.
Let's hear your
What?
half a page of notes.
All right. Yes. So I want you guys to go to the doctor and ask if you have short-term memory loss, because if I recall correctly last night, 30 NFL teams just got film on the Chiefs being shut down. Every single team in the NFL. Okay? That film is going to be brought up every preparation for the Chiefs, every team that's playing against the Chiefs. What film are they going to show? Look at how they did it. We're going to do that. Okay? That's point one here.
Can I say something real quick? You can't prepare to have the Chiefs play 2 backup tackles.
Yeah. Are you gonna infect them with?
That is not what I'm talking about here.
But that's what the issue was.
No, it was getting to Mahomes. They got to Mahomes, made him run around, and then played solid defense on the back end.
Yeah, but
You're gonna do that.
They showed you the way. The Bucs showed everyone the way.
Yeah, but the Chiefs
They
have a great O-line.
showed everyone that McCole Hardman's not like that. They showed everyone that Travis Kelce can be human.
Travis Kelce had 10 catches for 133 yards.
And he had some bad drops. He had some bad drops.
And one.
And he was
one bad drop.
His third drop of the year.
And he was getting locked by Levante David for the most part.
But he was in double coverage almost the entire game.
What do you mean locked? He had 10 catches for 133 yards.
All right, that's besides the point here. Let me finish.
All right, keep going.
All right. The second thing here is that it is simply NFL history for the team like this, an offense like this, to decline because teams begin to figure them out. And I have examples for you guys. We look at the Rams in 2018. Guess who they also played, ironically, in the Super Bowl? Tom Brady. That offense was very good that year. Very insane.
Because all they did was play action and no one could stop it.
Can you stop interrupting? Go on mute, bro. Stop interrupting. I'm not gonna be done for like a while. But
all right, I'll hold my.
You look at that team, okay? What happened the next year? The Patriots figured them out in the Super Bowl. What happened the next year? I think they were 8-8. Offense was awful. Offense hasn't been good since, and they had to trade their quarterback because of that. We look this year, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens took a huge cut in production from when they were so good in 2019. And then the Titans figured them out in the playoffs, and everyone seemed to figure them out. That offense was insane. We can't deny it. That offense was insane in 2019. Can't deny it. We're going to go back even further to Kaepernick's 49ers and RG3's, at the time, Redskins, all right, running the read option. The read option has not been effective since the Seahawks bullied both. I mean, granted, RG3 did get hurt, but Seahawks beat us in the playoffs. And then they beat Kaepernick in the playoffs, the 49ers, and then put that to bed. That hasn't been effective since 2013. And then the Ravens try to do all the crazy stuff with it, but still, the read option pistol formation hasn't really been effective since then. And then finally, even this year, the Seahawks let Russ cook. Russell Wilson, that offense was definitely the best offense in the league for that first half of the season. It's the reason that Russ was the top of the MVP candidates. And DK Metcalf said it himself. Teams began to figure them out. And you know what happened? In the middle of a season, Russ is out of the MVP race and still with 0 MVP votes because of that offense just falling off because teams figured it out. So we've seen it. We've seen it in NFL recent past. It's bound to happen. I'm not saying like they're gonna go 10-6. They're probably gonna still be first seed in the AFC again. But I feel like there are teams in this league very capable of executing a game plan like the Bucs did.
Can I please say something? And by something, I mean a lot, please.
Go for it.
Okay. I want you to go through the teams you just said. Just tell me the teams, and I'll tell you every reason why you're wrong, okay?
All right. We got the Rams.
Okay. All they ran was play action. They had a great running back in Todd Gurley. They gave him the ball, and the play action would work. Jared Goff is not good. They just figured that out. That's one thing, though. The Chiefs can do everything. They can run, vertical. They can run horizontal. They can take the top off. They can dunk it to Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes can run for 10 yards for a first down. And he's not even that athletic. It's Patrick Mahomes. Next.
Okay. Ravens.
Okay, that one, yeah. All they did was run the football, and they realized how to tackle Lamar Jackson.
They had a great passing year in 2019. Their passing offense was great. 2019. Their offense as a whole.
Okay, for the most part, if you admit, it was Lamar Jackson running the football. Yes.
I'd say that was the thing that defenses feared the most.
Yes,
But
which
it
is
still
why
took a long time to figure it out, and once they did, Ravens started losing.
Yeah, but that was one thing to figure out. The pass game only worked because defenses were sucked up to Lamar Jackson and would just throw it over them. But we've never seen a player as athletic as Lamar Jackson in a long time. He's even more athletic than Michael Vick, okay? Just the way he cuts and moves. And he's so agile, so fast. Players finally, coaches figured out how to tackle him. You can't just go right at him. You got to stop and have him make a move and then attack. Once they did that, his running the football it's obviously successful, still going great, but not as successful, which made the passing game slow down, which made the whole offense slow down, which put more pressure on the defense, which just made their whole team be a lot lower. Nice.
The read option, 49ers and Redskins.
Colin Kaepernick was never good, ever.
I think he was. He went to a Super Bowl. I think that's pretty good. I don't know.
He was decent.
He outplayed Aaron Rodgers in a playoff game. That's pretty good.
Outplay him. He ran for 200 yards.
That's pretty good. It's exactly my point, though.
For 2 games. He was decent for 2 games and then was a backup and then was cut. Okay? RG3 had a devastating knee injury, which
that's not I'm just talking about the read option, why they were able to figure it out. And once they figured it out, forget the injuries,
Yeah, but you're bringing up one specific thing. The read option
because they're the best examples of running it. They had the most success with it.
Yes, but I'm saying the reason that these teams are being figured out is because they can only do one thing with mostly one player. So it brought up Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Lamar Jackson, RG3, Colin Kaepernick with the read option. It's one thing and from one player or position. With the Chiefs, you have 3 or 4 receivers. Hill, Watkins, Hardman, Pringle. You have Travis Kelce. You have
Clyde
Edwards-Helaire. What?
You should name 3 bums. Watkins is washed. Hardman sucks now because
Hardman's nice.
Hardman sucked. What did he do? What did he do in the playoffs? He fumbled the ball against the Bills.
Okay, that's special teams. We're talking about receivers. Okay, I'll give that to you. But what I'm saying is they can throw a screen and have Tyreek Hill run 5 yards. They can throw a quick hitch to Travis Kelce. They can take the top off with Tyreek Hill. They can toss it on a slant to Tyreek Hill, have him run up the field. They can give it to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, have him get 4 or 5 yards on a run. There's a lot they can do with that offense.
All right, then if it's that easy for them, then why'd the Bucs figure it out then?
They didn't figure it out.
The point is somebody always figures it out. We've seen it in NFL history.
They didn't figure it out. They got lucky. The Bucs got lucky.
Obviously not. They won by 22. How is that getting lucky? They had a game plan. They executed it, and they stopped.
No. The Bucs did not win. The Chiefs lost, and also lost a week before the game. Their 2 starting tackles got hurt, which we now see, is one of the most important positions in football. That was proven yesterday. The 2 tackles got hurt. Also, 2 dropped passes in the end zone. That's the Bucs getting lucky. Those should have been 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill hit him in the face. No one tipped it, nothing. Darrell Williams hit him in the face. No tipped, nothing. The Bucs got lucky on 2 separate plays that should have been 14 points.
I completely
got lucky.
I completely agree with this man, Ari. I've been letting Ari bully Hayden, but I want to take this back to, give me my moment. Some Lamar slander. Giving me my moment. Hayden brought up Lamar. That was a mistake.
That's what you get out of bed for.
All right, yeah.
Can I just respond to Ari before you?
No. I've been waiting for this one. All right. So half of my TikTok, by the way, is Lamar slander. I love it. All right. So I'm going to read off guys with better passing ratings in 2019, where Hayden said Lamar Jackson had a good passing year. Jared Goff, Jameis Winston, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Andy Dalton, Mitchell Trubisky, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Watson, Kyle Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jimmy Garoppolo, Gardner Minshew, Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, and Jacoby Brissett.
Can you read Lamar Jackson's passing stats that season?
Lamar Jackson had 3,127 yards. Okay.
More?
His completion percentage, however, was 58.8.
More?
He
I want touchdown to interception. I want that.
You want touchdown to interception? All right. He threw for
it was 36 and 6. I'll save you.
It was 36 and 6.
Okay. Well, what was his pass rating?
So how was his pass rating bad? Those 6 interceptions in the season. That's I don't know where you're getting your information from.
Because his completion percentage is dog water.
Well, what was his pass rating?
It's not showing me that, but he is that far down the list. That's all I gotta say.
I don't know.
I want to hear Hayden.
I don't know if I trust your information there, but
Hayden,
see, like you kind of made me forget. All right, can you just refresh me on what you were talking about so I can respond to it? You were talking about like okay, yeah. You said the Chiefs lost the game. Like the Bucs didn't win it.
The Bucs got lucky.
They won by 20 points. Okay, like that's not.
That shows how important the tackle position is.
No. It shows that Todd Bowles has figured the Chiefs out because it wasn't just that game. It was the game they played in Week 12, where I even forgot about this. After that first quarter, the Chiefs barely put up anything. They barely did anything. And the Bucs, I mean, Tony Romo, that's what caused him to make that godly prediction at the end of that game where he said, you know what, they stopped the Chiefs throughout the second half of that game, and their offense started to get going. Todd Bowles has that team figured out, and it's only a matter of time before someone else does with a great NFL mind. And I imagine it's going to be McVay next. So
he's more of an offensive mind.
But with that defense they have too, they have tools to do it.
All right.
And it's just wrong to say that they got lucky because they won by such a dominant margin. Like that's not luck. That happened for a reason.
In that game, Patrick Mahomes had 490 total yards and 3 passing touchdowns.
How much of that was in the first half?
I don't know.
It was. I'd say like
I'll give it to you. 200 of that was in the first quarter. I'll give that to you.
More than that, yeah.
Yeah, but look, I don't know what else to say. They got lucky. I mean, their 2 tackles were out for various reasons, and where was the pressure from every single time? The outside. That's what was happening every time. You see, that's why Mahomes is getting chased down because it was a DN chasing him, not a big old D lineman. It wasn't Ndamukong Suh chasing him down every time. It was an edge rusher chasing him. That's why he kept having to run. And then again, like there was 2 drop passes in the end zone and him in the face. Like,
all right, those were really hard passes to catch. Let's not trip here.
The one to Tyreek Hill, yes, but
he never even had that in his possession.
Yes, yeah,
he's 5'8".
That caliber. Look, this is.
It was a jump ball to a 5'8" guy. Of course, he's gonna drop it.
Look, it wasn't a jump ball, but big time players make big time plays in big time games. He's a big time player. He needs to make that big time play and that big time game. That's what you have to do to win the Super Bowl. He didn't do that. Bucs got lucky. The one to Darrell Williams, sure you can chalk it up to him being a running back, but that you gotta catch the ball. I mean, there was no hands in front of you. Jumped in front of above the guy. You got to catch that football. Point flat out. You got to catch the football.
All right, but do you understand why they didn't catch that?
Huh?
You know what Mahomes did on both those plays before he threw the ball?
Yeah, because
the Bucs figured him out and made him run every single play.
They didn't have an offensive line.
There was a
It doesn't
depleted
matter if your
O-line.
defensive line is that good and you have a coach that is that smart and
What
make
what
Mahomes run like that
defensive
every
line
single
is that
time.
good? Name a defensive line other than the Bucks and the Rams that is that good.
Washington football team. Anyways,
And Washington
And the
football
Washington football team. My fault. Other than those 3 teams.
I have them on my list right here as a team that could possibly figure out the Chiefs next season. Football team, Colts, Rams, Bucks.
Here, I'm gonna
Bucks
say
already
this
did though.
too. I'm gonna say this too. How many times did you see Patrick Mahomes dunk it off to the running back last night? Do you know what that means? That Andy Reid wasn't smart enough to keep the running back in, give him a 6-man blocking scheme. I mean, the one where Mahomes was parallel to the ground, who did he throw to? A running back. He kept five-man blocking scheme the entire game. That's just stupid. You got to keep a running back in, maybe 2. Keep a tight end in. You have to. With that pressure coming, I mean, again, the Bucks got lucky because Andy Reid and Byron Leftwich were just not Byron Leftwich. Eric Bieniemy were just not. They weren't smart. I don't know what they were doing. They didn't change the game plan. That's what good coaches do. You change. You adapt, react, and overcome. That's how you win games. I mean, I understand they didn't have to do that all year, but you're going to have to do that eventually. That's why Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. He's had a bunch of different types of teams. It's a different conversation, but whatever, same thing.
But the point was never about that specific game. It's just history. I gave you my proof. I gave you my
And I
examples.
told you why you're wrong. Again, with the Seahawks,
That's not
too.
wrong. It's proof of a decline. Good offenses like this have historically declined once they get figured out, and that Chiefs team got figured out.
But the offenses that you told me, there was one thing that they did great. Even with the Seahawks, the deep ball, they realized DK Metcalf cannot cut, so they forced him to cut, and he can't like dig routes, like slants, everything. He can't cut. He can't go horizontal. So they would just let him do that and then drive on the football. Like just stop the moon ball and you stop the Seahawks. That's what they did. It's one thing.
Also, none of the teams that you mentioned have nearly as much star power as the Chiefs do.
That too. The Chiefs are by far better offense than any of the teams you mentioned.
Look, okay, but the Bucks literally just proved, and you have even said this, that having a good quarterback is not the answer, because if the O-line is getting beat every time, like the Bucks were doing,
they played a JV O-line, bro.
it doesn't matter, because any game and a defensive line can do that. Any game, they can tire out the O-line enough where.
But not but you guys, they set a Super Bowl record. 29 pressures. That was a little record. So that's a record means it doesn't happen every day or ever.
So they figured it out.
Before. They didn't figure it out. They figured out, yes, they figured out how to get 2 Pro Bowl caliber edge rushers around 2 backup tackles. You're right. They figured that out. Congratulations.
Big brain, man. Big brain.
Who also happened to be replacing maybe the 2 best O-linemen on their team, Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. Great linemen. Some of the best tackles in the league.
Pro Bowl deserving.
Yeah, Eric Fisher is a Pro Bowler. I don't know if Mitchell Schwartz is Pro Bowl caliber.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they got lucky. Point blank. Bucks got lucky.
No.
This is all he has to say is that.
I just can't. I don't like how you're saying they got lucky, man. Like they won that game by that much for a reason. Like
no, the Bucks did great things, but most of it is because they got lucky.
Look, I'm not saying, like I said, you guys are acting like I'm saying the Chiefs are gonna fall off and miss the damn playoffs. Like I gave you 4 teams that I think could maybe figure them out, and I feel like they all could do it, but.
I don't think the Chiefs.
We saw the point is we saw the game plan to do it, and the execution you need to have to do it.
I'd say that's where I disagree with you. I don't think so.
We literally saw it, Ari. They won by 22 points. We literally just saw it. I think you have short-term memory loss because we literally just saw it last night.
With 2 backup tackles.
It doesn't matter. We saw it. We saw the Chiefs struggle.
But look,
against two back tackles.
look, the
bro.
point of it, look here, pass defense. The point of pass defense: do not let the ball get to the receiver's hands. Yes, that happened. It's not that. It's nothing to do with the defense that he dropped it. That has nothing to do with defense. It wasn't padded. It wasn't anything.
I'm not talking about specific plays. I'm talking about regardless.
I'm saying that happened a good amount of times when they got lucky that he dropped it.
Regardless of their O-line, you keep talking about their damn star power. That is irrelevant if you can get to Mahomes every single or on all
But
of
you
those
haven't
plays.
seen them get to Mahomes when they have a healthy offensive line. And who do you think they're going to draft in the first round this year after that just happened?
I don't know. They have the 31st pick. All the O-linemen.
Where are you going to get that deep? An O-lineman. They don't need a receiver. They don't need a running back. They don't need tight end. They don't need anything else. After watching that game last night, they're going to go get – they might even trade up because they have players to spare, obviously. They're going to –
Yeah, they should get rid of like Sammy Watkins. But
yeah, they're going to get an O-lineman. Yeah, trade Sammy Watkins to a team that needs a veteran receiver.
yeah, but also, I mean, those two linemen are going to be coming back from injuries now. Eric Fisher's was bad.
Yeah, they're going to get a new guy. I will go out on a limb and say they're going to draft an offensive lineman in the first round this year. Whatever first pick they have. I don't know, first round, second round, whatever. Their first pick of the draft will be an offensive lineman.
100%. I don't think it will be a tackle, though.
It'll be someone. I don't know.
I agree. And clearly Hayden is in disbelief right now. We kind of ganged up on him. Feel bad for him. But thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys next time on The Huddle. Peace, COVID boy.